Hi boys and girls, how are you? So for today's science activity, we're going to be doing a sink or float, where is it? Experiment. Here is your paper. Okay, so this is what your paper looks like. And you will need to find 5 things around your house, okay? And the first thing we're going to do is make a prediction, and then we're going to observe. And when we observe, which is something we talked about in the first week, we use our sense of sight. So we're going to observe what happens when we try whether of these things are going to sink or float. So go ahead and find 5 things inside your house. Can be anything. If you want, first watch my video, and then you can go look for yours. That way you can get an idea. Or you can do it at the same time. You can pause me, go find 5 things. You will need a container with water. Okay, I'm going to angle this down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So I went ahead and I found this jug of water because it's made of glass so we can see through it. And I found 5 things that I want to test out. So I'm going to try an apple. I found a strawberry, some keys, a dice, okay, and a crayon. So these are the 5 things that I'm going to test out. Okay. So let me switch the camera and show you what you're going to do. What's the first step you will be doing? Alrighty, so step number 1 is going to be to draw the objects or the things we're going to test out. So my first thing is going to be an apple. So I'm going to draw an apple. Okay. So first it's an apple. Then I have a strawberry. The next thing is my dice. Okay, let's do 2, 3. And then I have a crayon. Okay, like that. And then I have some keys. Okay, so go ahead and draw them and then you can color them really quick. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to color them and then I'll show you what they look like once I'm done. Alrighty, so the first step, like I said, was draw each of the objects into one of the boxes. So I first drew my apple, then I did my strawberry, my dice, the crayons, and then keys. You can look for different things. So if you have different things around your house, go ahead and do those. I was interested in knowing what would happen to these things. So that's why I picked them. Okay, so now let me switch you over so that we can talk about what to do next. Alrighty, so after you have drawn all of your items and you color them, okay, you should have 5 of them. Oh, I have this horrible glare again. Okay, you should have your 5 items drawn in here. Okay, colored and drawn in. We're going to make a prediction. Now, what does that mean, to make a prediction? I don't know if you remember because it's been a while, but during the first lesson for science, we talked about how sometimes scientists will make something called hypothesis, right? So a hypothesis is an educated guess. It's when you use your knowledge or what you know about things to guess what will happen. So in this case, we're going to make a prediction, which is similar to making up a hypothesis about an experiment. So we're going to predict, we're going to use what we know, what we think is going to happen to each of these things. Now we're talking about sinking or floating. That involves water, okay? So what does sinking look like? So when something sinks, it means that it goes to the bottom of our water. So again, when we say that something sinks, it means that it goes down to the bottom of the water. Now if something floats, it means that it stays on top. So instead of sinking, it kind of stays on top. Have you ever been to the pool and you have those floaties, those round circles, and you throw them in the pool and they just stay on top? They don't go to the bottom, they stay on the top of your pool. That is something that floats. When, for example, when you jump into the pool, right, you go to the bottom of the pool. So that means you're sinking. You're going to the bottom. Now we humans are able to move around so that we can float to the top, But if we just stand there, we would go down to the bottom because it will pull us down, okay? So we're gonna make a prediction. What do we think is going to happen to each of the items? So I'm going to grab my apple. That's my first thing on the paper. I have my apple. So I'm going to predict what's going to happen to my apple. Is it going to sink or is it going to float? Now I'm going to show you how to do that on the paper. So let's go ahead and look at that on the paper. Okay, so over here I have something that's floating on top of the water, and here my boat is sinking. So my job is to make a prediction. So in this part, we're just going to predict. And parents, you might know, but let the kids predict. It's okay if they get it wrong. The whole point is for them to see if they got it right or not, and really just to have fun. So which one do you think is going to happen? So I think with the apple, you know, apples are heavy, and usually heavy things go to the bottom of our water. So because it's heavy, I think it's going to sink. So use your red crayon if you want, and circle what you think is going to happen. So I think it's going to sink. What do you think is going to happen on your first one? So you don't have to have an apple. Whatever you have on here, make your prediction. So first, I think it's going to sink. Now let's go to the next one for the strawberry. The strawberries are pretty light. It's small. So I think it might float. Okay, so just because it's small and it's cute. I don't know how being cute is going to matter, but we're just going to guess and say that it will float. Oh, we have the dice next. Let me see. The dice feels pretty light, but for some reason, I feel like it's going to sink. Yeah, it falls. I don't know. I feel like it's going to sink, so I'm just going to say 6. Next is the crayon. Well, it's long, so maybe because it's long, it'll have more space to kind of float on the water. So maybe it's going to stay on top of the water. And it has wax, so wax repels, right? That's kind of what we talked about during art. So maybe the water is going to repel the wax. I don't know. Again, try and use what you know about things, right? So I think it's going to float. Okay, this is the last one, my keys. So I think these keys, they feel kind of heavy. So I feel like they're going to sink. Okay, so let's see. Okay. So after you make all of your predictions, make all of them, we're going to try it. Now, whatever we get, we're going to circle, and then we're going to see if we got it right or not, or wrong. So let me switch over and show you what happened. Ready to test it out? Okay, so the first thing is my apple. I said that it was going to sink because it was heavy and it looked pretty big. So don't throw it from higher up. You want to kind of go in so that it doesn't splash everywhere. So I'm just gonna put it in and, oh, it floats. Look, I can push it down and it kind of comes up. So apples float. Cool. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab a green crayon, or you can grab a green marker, whatever you have, and I'm going to circle the right answer on the observation side. So on this side where it says observe, I'm going to circle what really happened. So I said that it would sink. That was wrong. It's actually going to float. So I'm going to circle float. Okay, so I'm going to circle float. I'm going to color it a little bit. Okay, did apple. I take it out because my little container is too small to try all of them together. So let me move that. What do we have next? Strawberry. Okay, let's see what happens. Again, I'm not throwing it from up here. I'm just kind of... I got it right. I said that it would float. Look, it comes up. You can do that. You can push it down and see if it comes up. And yeah, it does. Okay, so I got that one right. Okay, so strawberries float. Okay. Yay. Well, kind of, it's clean now. I can eat it. Okay, so let's try the dice. Okay, so let's see. Ooh, you see that? It went to the bottom. So that means that dice sink. Okay, did I get that right? Yes, I did. I said that it would sink. Okay, so I'm going to circle that. Color it in a little bit. Okay, so I got the dice. I'm not going to reach in and take it out. When I drain it, I'll take it out. So let's try my crayon. I said that it would float. Let's see. Oh, is it sinking or is it floating? It looks like it's sinking. Is it all the way at the bottom? Wait, does it sink or does it float? No, it sinks. Okay, it sinks. I said it would float, but it actually sinks. Okay, so let's color that in. And here's the last one, the keys. Now this I said would sink because they're kind of heavy. So let's try it. I got it right. Okay, this one sinks. Okay. Now after you're done, very carefully, you can put this in your sink or in your bathroom sink and dump it out. Let me just wipe this so I don't get everything dirty. Okay, now look at your paper. Did you get it right? How many did you get right? How many did you get wrong? Let's see, I got one wrong right here. I said the apple would sink, but it actually floated. I did get the strawberry right. I said it would float, and it did float. I got the dice right. It did sink. I got the crayon wrong. I thought that it would float, but it actually sunk. It went down to the bottom. And I did get the key right. I said that it would sink, and it did sink. Now you can go ahead and try this with more things around your house, but do pick 5 and do the experiment in your family. And then you can ask people around and have them make predictions. Like, you can try it first, and then you can say, hey, what do you think is going to happen to an apple? Do you think it would sink or float? And see if they know. Sometimes they might not know. All right, my friends, that was it for science. I hope you enjoy. Make sure you're watching the video for sink or float. And you are, I think it's a video and one's a story. Okay, so go ahead and watch those and have fun. I will see you later.